Hey everybody, this is the Robert A. Harris and Lone Star Elite Outdoors. Today I'm going to walk y'all through a series of photographs that was taken all throughout deer season on trail camera. Notice the date and time is not correct on the pictures, so don't go by that. I've got another camera that we're going to do a separate video on that the date and time is correct. This one is not. So we're going to walk through these pictures and show y'all what all came to the feeder. There will be a little bit of repetition, but not a whole lot. So here we go. The first picture here is of a little buck, little 5 pointer. I think he's missing his brow tine on the right side. Then we move into one group of hogs. There's, I don't know, there's a bunch of small pigs. And here's another shot of, I think, that same bunch. And then we move over to the next picture, and this is a different group of hogs here. This was one day to the next in a different group of pigs. Here's that little buck again. He does have a brow tine on his right side, so he's a little 6 pointer. Here's a big old boar hog. There's several that I've got individual pictures of. There's one or two pictures where I've got two pretty good sized boar hogs together. Here's that another group of pigs here. One of the groups. That's a pretty big gray pig right there. And then of course the local cows have to show up. You know, they camp out at the feeders. Here's a group of pigs that came in. I think this is the group that's got the smaller little shoats in the bunch. This just goes to show that the pigs do come out before dark sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. Here's another great big boar hog. It's a little bit different. He's got that black spot on his chin. It's not just mud because it's been so dry down here in South Texas all year that there's no mud. Then of course a local coon. Got to do some coon eradication. And then looky here, we got a coyote. I actually got some pictures of coyotes on the other camera too. So here's a coyote. We're gonna do some coyote calling for y'all this spring and see what we can come up with. Ought to be pretty interesting. There's another picture of that little buck. Yeah, local cows they decide they don't even bed down. And if you look at that bright spot right directly underneath the feeder there, that's a little cottontail rabbit. And looky here, we had a couple of foxes show up multiple times. They're pretty cool. They were pretty playful. Seemed like from the different pictures I had. Here's another picture of them. Looks like I don't know if they're eating corn or what they're doing. It's so dry that I wouldn't be surprised if there's anything they can find. Here's a little bit of a different buck. This isn't that same little 6 pointer. This is a little bit of a different deer. He's the only other really. I don't know. I can't say that. I don't know. Very few deer come to this feeder. It's mainly pigs. There's them two foxes again, and then one that's a running picture. A fox took off running. He's running underneath the feeder there, stuff, and it's that original little buck, little 6 pointer. This is a picture that I saved just to show y'all that the pigs are at the feeder and the cows are there too. So they cohabit pretty well. Uh, that's a picture of those two big boar hogs there. And if you look in the background directly underneath the feeder, I'll try to put an arrow pointing at it, but that's actually a cow standing there right behind the feeder. So it's kind of interesting. This is a deer that I've never seen before. I have to look through my pictures a little closer from the other feeder, the other camera, and see. But you can tell this one's broke on his right side or his left side. Looks like probably an 8 pointer at one time. But I have to see if I recognize him off the other camera. That's the only picture I got of him on here. Here's a uh, I, I think it's that other buck that I said was not the original. Might be a different buck altogether, but you know, it's small deer. And here's a totally different buck. I got pictures of him, better pictures of him. It's not so blurry on the other camera that I'll show you all in the next video. But it's just a little spike. I think he's got a little fork on one side. he's got all these little white spots all over him, and it's kind of unique. I've never seen that. Foxes are back. They were in and out and around this feeder a lot. There's another one, and there's another one of the fox, and there's a picture of the two of them. And then this picture here, I wanted to kind of stop and talk about this for a minute. We're gonna be putting pins up around these feeders to keep the cattle away from them, and when we reset our cameras, and when y'all set your cameras, a good rule of thumb is to make sure you know which way the sun's going to be coming and which way it's going to be shining in the mornings and in the evenings, your prime times, and make sure that you're not going to get this glare like you see in this picture here. So just be conscious of that when you're setting your cameras up, of where the sun's going to be in the sky in the mornings and in the evenings, so that you're not pointing it directly at the upcoming or downgoing sun, and it'll help you get better quality pictures. And another picture real quick of, two big boar hogs at the feeder with, the cows. So anyway, that's what I've got off of this feeder, and we'll be making a video of the other feeder too. This one's the west feeder, and the other one's the east feeder. And like I say, we'll bring that video to you next. If y'all have any comments about any of these, leave them down in the comments. I'd be glad to hear what you thought about some of these pictures. You can reference them by date and time, and we can talk about it. See y'all later.